everyone, and thanks for joining us for the PIP this evening. So some names I see here, I think you have joined us before. So the idea of the evening tonight is to look at skills in particular. So they are important aspects of the curriculum, of course, in Key Stage 3, and they are those building blocks that your son and daughter need in order to be able to continue with their education in Key Stage 3, and obviously to pave the way for the skills they will need in Key Stage 4 and beyond. So I'd like to welcome this evening, we've got some subject specialists in the field with us. So we've got Miss Rachel Evans, who is our literacy coordinator at Ysgol Dyffryn Aman. So ni'n croeso, rhoi croeso I Miss Evans sydd gyda ni, and Miss Evans will take you through some of the aspects with regards to literacy, what we offer as a school in terms of support and interventions, but also, very importantly, what you as parents can do to support your son or daughter at home in terms of their literacy development. We've also got Mrs. Jo Hudson-Williams, who is our numeracy coordinator and also our Key Stage 3 coordinator in the maths department in the school as well. So again, an experienced member of staff who will take you on a support journey really with regards to the support you can offer your son or daughter at home in terms of their numeracy development, but also the ways in which we as a school support our pupils to develop in their number and their numeracy skills as well. And of course, we've got Mrs. Jane Sullivan this evening, who is our ICT, our head of department in the ICT department, and also now the driving force behind the DCF for us as a school as well. So 3 ladies joining us this evening to deliver. And what we will do is we will in turn, we will start with the literacy presentation, followed then by the numeracy presentation, and then followed by the technology and the ICT, and looking in particular there, I know, at the Google platform and other means that we use as a school. If we can keep the question and answer session to the end, I think that would benefit the members of staff. But if many people prefer to put questions up in the chat as we go along, so please feel free to do so. And as I say, we can do our best to answer then your questions and your queries at the end of the session, if that's okay. So, os newn ni ddechrau gyda chi, Miss Evans, os ydy hwnna'n iawn, and all 3 are going to share their screens with you this evening so that you will be able to see the presentations that they will be referring to, and these presentations will be available as well after tonight's sessions should you want to revisit them. So that's enough from me for now. So diolch yn fawr.
Okay, diolch yn fawr. I'll just share my screen with you. Okay, diolch yn fawr iawn I chi. So as Mrs. Thomas has said, I'm the literacy coordinator. My name is Rachel Evans. And why is literacy skills important? Why are they important? Pam fod sgiliau llythrennedd yn bwysig? Well, as I'm sure you can appreciate, literacy is an essential life skill. And as Mrs. Thomas said, they really are the building blocks for life. Now, effective literacy skills help learners to make sense of concepts across the curriculum. And I think that's a really important thing to remember here, is that solid literacy skills ensures that our pupils can succeed across the curriculum, whether that's in technology, maths, science, or maybe subjects that are considered more traditionally literacy-based, such as history and, of course, languages and religious education, for example. But good literacy skills also can build learners' confidence to grasp new opportunities and to adapt to different roles, which in turn can develop them as enterprising, creative contributors ready to play a full part in life and work. And I think that's a really important thing that we try and emphasise at Ysgol Dyffryn Aman, is that yes, doing well in school and achieving the best of their ability is important, But ultimately, what we are trying to do is ensure that our pupils leave Ysgol Dyffryn Aman ready for the world of work and life in general. So how do we develop literacy schools in Ysgol Dyffryn Aman? Sut ydyn ni'n datblygu sgiliau llythrennedd yn yr ysgol? Wel, mae'r fframwaith llythrennedd cenedlaethol yn holl bwysig i hyn. The National Literacy Framework is really the building block that we begin with, and this was formed by the Welsh Government. And this framework ensures that pupils are given an array of opportunities to develop their oracy skills, that's speaking and listening, reading and writing skills across all subjects. And we do consider all of those equally important. As a result, every teacher is a teacher of literacy. And I think that's, one of our basic principles in school is that everybody has a role to play in the school. As a result, departments and subject staff plan stimulating tasks and opportunities to enrich our pupils' experience of literacy. And linked to that, we also have a whole school marking policy, which ensures that feedback we give is consistent in terms of the literacy skills. So we focus on things like spelling, paragraphing, sentence construction, so that our pupils are aware of what is expected across the school. Now, pupils who require further support are identified through a robust system and receive targeted intervention. Now, as I'm sure you can appreciate, that intervention does look somewhat different this year, given the current climate. Normally, we have sixth form reading buddies, for example, one-to-one reading support. But as I said, that's slightly different currently, but we hope to reintroduce that as soon as we're able to do so. Nevertheless, within our classrooms, all teachers ensure that we are providing for our pupils, and the pupils receive targeted intervention to ensure that they can move forward with their skills. And another thing that we've spent a lot of time on this year are form time activities. So that's the time when our pupils come in the morning between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. And they have a variety of activities to do in the morning. We have a word of the week every week, yn y Gymraeg ac yn y Saesneg, where pupils learn what the meaning of the word is and then try and use that word in a sentence. And then we also encourage them to use that then across their week in various different subjects. I know my Year 7s take particular delight in trying to add it into their lessons during the week. So that's one aspect. We also have audiobooks that our pupils listen to. Now, again, normally we'd have a reading box where pupils choose a reading book for the term, but we've done it slightly differently this year, where pupils have an opportunity to listen to an audiobook. And that is a very valuable experience as well, and I'll talk about it later, but audiobooks are really an excellent opportunity to develop vocabulary by listening to others using those words and speaking those words. We also have weekly reading material on a particular famous person in history, and that too develops our pupils' skills. And this is what the PowerPoint looks like every week. So as you can see, you've got the word of the week there, a discussion point. So encouraging debate, encouraging discussion, using vocabulary, a quote of the week, and then the important person in history. So I really would encourage you to ask your children when they get home what the word of the week is, what the weekly discussion is, and have that conversation with them, because the more they use those words, the more they have these discussions, the greater their skills will develop and the more confident they will become to use those words and those sentence constructions. But one of the big things that we try to emphasize, and it's something that you can do at home as well, is reading. And there are two aspects to that. Darllen am fwynhad, wrth gwrs, a darllen am gynnydd. Reading for pleasure and reading for progress. Now, why do we encourage reading for progress? Pam ein bod ni'n annog darllen ar gyfer cynnydd? Well, reading, as you can imagine, impacts performance in every subject, whether that's in a science-based subject where there's actually probably more than you would expect reading material in order to access the questions, to maths, technology, and all subjects across the school. And it's really interesting to note that a child's reading ability is actually much more of an important indicator of success than socioeconomic or the educational status of parents. So as you can see, reading, mae darllen yn holl bwysig. And reading, as the Centre for Longitudinal Studies stated in 2017, reading improves teenagers' vocabulary by 26%. huge impact if our pupils are reading. And then the National Literacy Trust states the difference in achievement between children who read for at least 30 minutes a day and those who don't is the equivalent of a year's education by the time that they are 15. So it can have a huge, huge impact. And we really want to encourage our pupils to read in order for them then to access the curriculum to achieve the best of their ability in school. But of course, reading is so much more than that. And mae darllen am fwynhad, reading for pleasure is vitally important in school and of course afterwards as well, because reading develops confidence, it improves self-esteem. Reading can help young people to understand complex issues from the safe fictional world of a book, particularly maybe in an area as we live where we don't get to understand many of the complex issues that maybe an inner city school might come across. But those opportunities do arise to understand these things through fiction and through books. Reading is proven to increase empathy. It's enjoyable and fun and relaxing, potentially, for fluent readers, if they have the right book, and I'll come to that in a minute. So, as I said, reading is vital for academic attainment, but also it goes more than that. And it's for reading for pleasure, goes beyond it and stretches into a person's life. Now, it's really interesting to note that this research was done in 2017, 2018, that 26.2% of children only read once a month or less, which is a worrying stat, I'm sure you'll agree. And also, many young people, the main access they have to any kind of reading material is actually through text messages, which isn't the best type of text to be reading. Felly, I ni'n annog chi, we would really encourage you, please, at home to support your child by encouraging them to read. And starting off maybe by an hour a week, an hour yr wythnos. Little and often certainly does work. And you may want to build up to that hour a week. You may want to go beyond that hour, but certainly building up to ensure that our pupils do get that opportunity to read at home. And I've noted here that, again, as I've mentioned, audiobooks already, audiobooks do count. There's lots of research being done over lockdown, actually, that shows that the number of people listening to audiobooks over lockdown has increased dramatically, which is a positive, because as I said, hearing that vocabulary, listening to it, has a positive impact on the literacy skills of our young people. Now, if you haven't joined already, I would really encourage you to get your children to join Competency Library. It's very easy to join, and I'll show you that in a minute. And by joining, you can do it online. You get access immediately to 10 audiobooks and 10 ebooks. So it's a great resource. I use it myself a lot for the audiobooks when I listen on my way into school in the morning. And it's much easier actually now since the pandemic to do it, because you can join online. So if I just briefly show you, this is the Competency Library's website. This link is on our school website, which I'll come to in a minute. And all you simply have to do is click join online. You have to add in a few details, note to your local library and set up a PIN. And within minutes, you're given access to those audiobooks and to those ebooks. So it's a really easy process to do. If you then want to join the library as a full member, then you do need to go into the library with identification in order to get that full membership to be able to take books out of the library. But this, as I said, it's a really useful tool, those audiobooks, for yourselves as well, I'm sure. So do please make use of that. And I know the library would be very glad of your support as well. As I said, I think many children are already part of the library, because Competency have had a programme trying to get all primary schools to get pupils to join. However, if you haven't, like I said, those are the details there. But just go back. And another point that I've got here, which is important, is talk about the books together. I had a wonderful conversation with my Year 8 form class last week about their favourite books. And the conversation flowed for a good 20 minutes. And I hadn't expected it, to be honest. And it was really nice to hear them talk about their favourite books, their favourite characters, their favourite part of the plot in the book. So do please talk about the books together. But of course, that's all well and good, but what about our reluctant readers? Beth am y darllenwyr amharad? Well, it's important to find a book with connection to something they love. And I think by joining the library, possibly that will give you more of an opportunity maybe to come across those kind of books. Tom Palmer is a very good author who writes about football, for example, if you've got a football fanatic. You know, there are an array of books out there, but it's just about trying to find something that your children would love to read. Encouraging phone-free time, you know, non-screen time is certainly one big thing that you could do. Book versions of popular movies, that's a good one to start off with to get people's interest. They may have watched the movie already and then be able to read the book, or vice versa, and that maybe might be something that they would enjoy as well. You'll see an address to Love Reading for Kids also, which explores the opening of books for free, which give you an idea of whether you're going to like the book or not, for example. But also, I think it's important for us to remember that not all of our pupils will enjoy a traditional fiction book or a traditional non-fiction book. And there are an array of different opportunities out there. Graphic novels, for example, magazines are also perfectly good opportunities to improve literacy skills and to read. And I've talked about audiobooks already. I think I'm selling that point to you. And finally, reading aloud to your child. Now, we tend to think that reading aloud is for our primary school children, but actually there's a lot of research that shows that reading aloud to your child, whatever their age, has a positive impact and can improve literacy skills greatly. So don't be afraid to do that as well. And then finally, what I've got here as well, you may be thinking as well, o safbwynt y Gymraeg, from a Welsh perspective, if you are a parent who's got a child in the Welsh stream and maybe don't speak Welsh, as I know from personal experience, because my mother didn't speak Welsh, that doesn't mean that you can't help them. So don't feel that you can't. So pupils who explain or summarise what they have read in Welsh to an English-speaking parent actually develop a better understanding of the text because they're reinforcing what they've read. They're processing it, they're explaining it. So that can have a positive impact. If your child is unsure of a word, don't be afraid to use a dictionary to check the English version and its meaning, and then to discuss it with your child. This will show your child that using a dictionary and checking meaning is a natural part of developing understanding. I know it's something I do in school. You know, I'd love to be a walking dictionary, but we all have words sometimes that we can't remember. And I'll put the dictionary up on the board and we'll look for that word. It's a really positive learning experience if you do so. In terms of dictionaries then, obviously you've got the hard copies of dictionaries, but Geiriadur Academy is a very good one. Geiriaduracademy.org there, or you can see various other links to other dictionaries, which are good opportunities for our pupils to use in order to develop their understanding of Welsh words as well. Online bookstores such as Amazon often include an English version summary of a book in Welsh. So if you're trying to choose a book with your child or for your child, then that can be really helpful. But it also can help you when you're discussing a book with your child. So you've got some kind of knowledge of that book to begin with. Now, there have been an array of books which have been translated from English. Admittedly, not all of them are the best. However, there are plenty of books in Welsh that have been translated, and they are a good starting point. And it could be that a good starting point maybe to choose one of these books so that you can have English version nearby, so that even though they might have the Welsh version, then the fact that you've got the English version with you can help you, and you can discuss it with your child. But also, don't be inhibited by not speaking Welsh. Helping your child with their understanding can be mutually beneficial and can be a rewarding experience for both parent and child. So just finally, I wanted to take you to our school website, dyffrynamon.org, and the literacy and numeracy aspect. And as you see on the literacy and numeracy page, there are some useful downloads here, such as reciprocal reading. So learning how to read with your child, knowing the right questions to ask, etc. There's a link here to reluctant readers as well, so how to ensure our reluctant readers are interested. You'll also find a link here to the Carmarthenshire Library's website and a variety of other useful links. One of which here you can see Words for Life, and if I just show you this, Words for Life is designed for students aged 13 plus, but you know it's suitable for anybody secondary school. And there's a variety of information here for parents, a variety of challenges as well for pupils. So do please make use of those resources. I hope I've given you a flavour of what we do at Ysgol Dyffryn Aman, and in terms of what you can do to support your child at home. But as Mrs. Thomas said, if you've got any questions at the end, do please write them in the chat box or ask them, and I'm sure we can answer them at the end. Diolch yn fawr.
Great, diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you there to Miss Evans. An excellent overview really of hopefully how you can support your son or daughter with reading. One thing I will say, having two boys in the household, and boys are not always the most willing when it comes to reading, but it is certainly something, you know, once they do find, I agree, you know, a book or a series they particularly enjoy, and more and more, you know, the access now to, you know, possibly looking at purchasing a Kindle as well, which, you know, can give them that added dimension that they feel it's an electronic version, but the fact that they can then access so many tools on the Kindle, you know, the built-in dictionaries, etc. But certainly the library facility as well is something that isn't used enough with us in school possibly, and as a county, and certainly with parents as well. So lots of fantastic tips and ideas there for you, hopefully. Now I'm going to hand over to Mrs. Johansson Williams, and I know you're going to have a wealth now of information as well regarding supporting with numeracy. So diolch yn fawr.
Diolch yn fawr. I'll just present my screen. Lovely. Wel, diolch yn fawr i chi. Fel wedodd Mr. Ramwen Thomas, enw fi yw Joanne Hudson-Williams, and I am the Numeracy Coordinator for Ysgol Dyffryn Aman. I'm also a mathematics teacher and the Key Stage 3 Coordinator as well. Now, in Ysgol Dyffryn Aman, we define numeracy as the use of numbers to solve problems in everyday life situations. Now, what we want pupils to do, very much like literacy, developing literacy skills, is to leave the school feeling competent and confident in using numbers in everyday situations, whether it be reading a train or bus timetable, or even maybe a bank statement. And we work hard to develop pupils' numerical reasoning skills in mathematics lessons and in other subjects as well. You know, it's really important that pupils don't just see numeracy as mathematics-based and things they do in their maths lessons. Rydym yn ehangu'r cyfleoedd I ddisgyblion o bob gallu defnyddio'u medrau rifedd mewn pynciau ar draws y curriculum. So we feel that it's really important that pupils from all different abilities, from the lower sets all the way up to maybe the MAT pupils, really do have this opportunity to develop their skills in all subjects across the board. Now, as was mentioned before, we do as much as we possibly can in school, but there are ways that you can support your children at home as well. And one of those ways is the MathsWatch. Now, MathsWatch is an absolutely invaluable website that the school pays for access, so that your the pupils all have free access to this. These are all on the website, the school website as well, but all of the pupils from year 7 all the way up to year 13 will have their own individual login, and they will be able to get access to MathsWatch. Now, if I just show you the website, we use this a lot in mathematics lessons, but also all of the different departments in the school do have access to these. And if I just click on videos, when you log on, the English classes will have their homework set on here. All the pupils are shown exactly how to use this. But it's really handy as well. You know, we often have parents telling us at parents' evenings that maths may not have been their favourite subject or their strongest subject, and you know, the way the curriculum changes so often, it might not be taught in the same way as you were taught as well. So this is a really handy tool. So if you are wanting to help your children at home with any homework or revision, all you need to do is just come to this area here with the videos. Simply search whatever it is that you're after, and you will get given a long list of the different videos. And by clicking on the video, then there is a lady who narrates. It explains how to do the topic. You can do a worksheet as well with questions, and there are interactive questions on there. So that is absolutely fantastic. As I said, homework is set on there for the English classes, and it's really great because it gives you that formative feedback. It marks the work, it gives feedback, and then it allows us as mathematics teachers to then go and have a little look at maybe where there are weaknesses, where we need to build on skills. And as I said as well, the different departments in the school do have access to this. So if we have teachers that are maybe, you know, feeling that their mathematical skills are not quite as strong as they would like, if they are then going to maybe do, I know Miss Evans has used it sometimes if we're looking at graphs in subjects like geography and history, then it's always nice to have that backup and have that support. Another website that we use quite often, especially lower down in Key Stage 3, is My Maths. And again, pupils all have login details to this. This is a great one for, again, showing method. There's some lovely games on there, interactive games that we use, and you can also have worksheets set on there. Now, because of the current climate and the way things are going, we've all at Ysgol Dyffryn Aman become very proficient at the use of Google Classroom. I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot more of that in just a second. But Google Classroom is one of the ways that, especially in the mathematics department, we have been setting homework more for the sort of Welsh classes, sort of in line then with what the Maths Watch does. We can set homework on there, again, for formative feedback. We can set work on Google Classroom, and it's helped us as well for people that maybe have been away on illness. But it also allows us to maybe talk to different departments and just keep that numeracy rich task, keep those numeracy rich tasks going on. But those are the three things. If you would like to help your children at home, they're the three things that we use in the mathematics department. Now, the Google Classroom as well is set up for every single mathematics class in Year 7, and if you would like to become, if you would like to be part of that, you can ask to be added to that. So at least then you can see exactly what numeracy rich tasks your children are doing. Now, this is the logo for the Maths Watch and the My Maths, and as I said before, they are on the school website. Now, we are very lucky as part of the literacy and the numeracy and the digital team to have the opportunity to really ensure that what departments are saying they're doing are actually being done. So much like literacy, the numeracy framework has set out really all the different things that we would like pupils to develop skills in, whether it be the procedural or reasoning numeracy tasks. Now, book checks are a way that we can just have a look at ensuring the tasks that different departments are doing are at the correct level, are actually developing the skills that we need to be developing, and it allows pupils as well to realise that they are developing these skills across the curriculum and not just in their mathematics lessons. We have a blue and a red dot system, so if there is maybe a numeracy rich task that pupils are doing in geography, or if they're doing a literacy rich task that they might be doing in mathematics, they will have a blue or a red dot there. So especially when we come to revising, pupils may think, well, you know, I actually did do graph work in geography. They can go back and look for the correct dots against the work. We also are involved with lesson walks, which is a really lovely way to be able to actually see different teachers across the curriculum help develop such skills. Intervention, as Rachel said, isn't actually happening the way that we would like currently. In the current climate, it's very difficult, but usually what we would do is we have the ability to take very small classes of up to 10 pupils maximum, of pupils within all year groups that are maybe struggling in specific areas, and we take them out for 2 hours every fortnight, and we take them out of non-core subjects, and it really allows us to hone in on the skills, to create sort of bespoke timetables for those pupils. And it also allows us to work, as I mentioned earlier, with pupils from all abilities. So we look at pupils that are struggling with their basic numerical skills, their reasoning skills, and we also have groups of pupils from maybe the upper sets that need stretching, that need pushing, that may be on need that extra push just to reach their potential. Now, we're also very, very interested in the pupil voice. We want to know the opinions of how effective pupils think the interventions are, or the tasks, the numeracy-rich tasks that they're doing across the subjects of the curriculum. So we do meet regularly with the school council, and we do pupil voice surveys. Just for one example, dyma beth roes I blwyddyn 7 llynedd. This is the year 7, part of the year 7 questionnaire that I gave. I think there were about 25 pupils, and this was from the questions regarding how they felt that numeracy intervention went last year. So as you can see, you know, it was very positive. Pupils felt that it really helped them, it helped their confidence, and we do hope to get these up and running as soon as we can in the future again. Very nearly then, near the end, just to let you know that pupils from, as you probably know, from year 2 all the way up to year 9 do sit the national numeracy and literacy tests. This year, both of them will be online. They sit 2 tests. The procedural has been online for a couple of years now, and the reasoning tests are going online this year. My year 7 class actually were part of the trial last week for the reasoning tests, and it went very well. And it's just another way for pupils to get feedback on their skills and maybe where they can go forward in improving those skills. And then finally, just as Rachel said before, we also have the extra time in registration, adeg gyfrestru nawr pob bore, ma 30 munud 'da ni. So we have that time to really hone in on the skills. Now, we have found, obviously, you know, pupils in year 6 missed most of the end of their year. So coming into year 7, we just really wanted to ensure that their basic skills had a little bit of a boost. So every week I put in a new multiplication challenge, my herlliosi, you know, and I always ensure that there is some music to go with it and a timer as well. So they have booklets that stay in their form rooms, and they can do this as many times in the week as they like. A little bit of a competition if they want to, against themselves or against their friends, and they get to do the same thing as many times a week as they want, and they can time themselves. The teacher puts up the answers, and it's just a way to improve their confidence and get them doing the basic skills. So when they come to do the numeracy rich tasks then in their subjects, at least they've got a little bit of practice on their basics. There's also the Form Time Numeracy website that there is a link to every morning, and that just has a range of different questions of different levels that pupils can have a go at if they like. And I think that's it from me. Diolch yn fawr. And as Mr. Arwen Thomas said, if there are any questions at all at the end, feel free to ask. So I shall just pass you back.
Fantastic. Diolch yn fawr. Again, a big thank you to Mrs. Jo Hudson-Williams there. As I say, there's again, you know, a fantastic number of resources, and I will say, you know, as a school, we do invest in these resources. They do come at a cost in terms of the Maths Watch and My Maths. And again, I certainly know from experience as a parent, you know, that my boys and continue now, even in the sixth form, to use those facilities that are available to them. I can see that Mr. Durbridge, Deputy Head, was joining us this evening as well, as answering some of your queries on the chat. But certainly if you have got any queries, you are more than welcome to stay at the end of the session as well, so that we can answer them to you personally as well. So diolch yn fawr am hwnna. Again, as I say, there's so much available there, and certainly fractions is a lot more interesting now than it was when I was in school, I will say that much. So Mrs. Sullivan, I'm sure is waiting patiently for us for the last episode, as it were, this evening. So thank you very much as well here to Mrs. Sullivan. I know who's put a package together to lead you now through some of the IT and the DCF materials, and again revisiting, I think, a bit on the Google Classrooms as well. So diolch yn fawr, thank you.
Thank you. I thought, playing to my strengths, that I'd create a video for you to watch, being as I'm an IT teacher. It's basically going to explain a little bit about Google Classrooms and how the students can ensure that they hand their work in. So I'll just share my screen. Good evening and welcome to the presentation on G Suite and Google Classrooms. The first thing that we need to do is to log into our Hub account. It will ask you for your username and then your password. Once logged in, you'll be able to access the Waffle menu. This shows you all of the packages and software that are available to you through Hub. We're going to look at Google for Education. Once this loads up, it will take us to the Google Classroom landing page. This will display all of the classes that you are a member of. At the top, you'll notice it says To Do. If you select on that, it shows you any assignments that are due in. So I know that on Friday this week, I need to hand in how to log into Hub, and next week, on Wednesday, I need to hand in what software should I use. In order to go back, you simply click on the three lines and select Classes, and this takes you back to the Classroom landing page. So if I select the Classroom, you'll see that you've got options Stream and Classwork. These are the two that we'll be using today. In the Stream, that's where the teacher will normally share any instructions for any work that's been set. And then in the Classroom is where you will see any assignments that have been uploaded for you to complete. There are two different assignments on here, and I'm going to show you how I can submit my work. So the first one, how to log into Hub. You see that it says View Assignment, and there's some instructions for me as to what I need to do. If I select View Assignment, you'll see that there are no files added to this piece of work. So I need to add or create a file to upload my work. I can select any of these, but I'm going to select a new Google Doc so that I can type in my user guide. It creates a blank document for you and allows you then to complete your work. Once I've completed my work, I can simply close the tab. I can check that it was saved already, so I don't need to do anything. I just close my tab, and then it will allow me to hand in the work. Once you've handed in the work, you won't be able to edit it. So I can't open this again now to make any changes. If I realise I've forgotten to do something, I can unsubmit the work. and that will then allow me to continue editing it. I simply select on the work again, it'll open up, and now it will allow me to continue editing the document. Again, once you finish, you can see here it says save to drive. I can simply close the tab and hand the work back in. This will notify the teacher, and they will be then able to access the work from the classroom. To go back to the main menu, I can just select the classroom at the top here. If I go back to the classwork, on my second assignment, you can see that a file has already been uploaded by the teacher, and they want me to edit this. I simply click on the view assignment again, and then I can access the file and complete my work. Again, this is the same principle. You can see it's saved to my drive. I simply close my tab, and then I can select hand in. If I go back onto the classroom and back onto the main classes, you'll see that I have here a Google Drive. This is where all of the work that I've completed in that classroom is saved. You can see here that I've got my blank document, I've got halfway through, and then the updated document. So it saves all the different version histories. So if it was a case that you misplaced or lost your work, you can simply go into the Drive folder, and all of your work can be accessed from there. Another way to access your Drive is from the waffle, and you select Drive. This gives you access to any folders that have been created. You'll see that I've got a classroom folder, and in there is the classroom. And again, I can access my files from here. On the school website, if we go to dufferinamon.org and scroll down, you'll see that there is a link here for Introduction to Hub. If you select that, you'll find some useful documents on how to access Hub, how to access your Google Classrooms, and how to upload your work. This is available on the website at any time, so if you were stuck, you could have a little look at these. Thank you.
Again, fantastic. Thank you very much, Mrs. Sullivan. A different presentation, but certainly kept us all focused there with regards to giving an overview of the Google Classroom. And I can see there's been some questions actually and comments on the classroom with regards to the issues maybe that some of you are experiencing as parents with the Google Classroom. So that gives an opportunity then. And just, apologies, close the door. Just, you know, again, and these are questions that we frequently experience really often through, and the mention there of the website is an important one. There is a help desk facility on our school website, which is open 24/7, and this does allow you as parents, obviously, to put any questions or queries you may have regarding any aspects of, you know, Google Classroom or anything else. So, diolch yn fawr I chi gyd. Many thanks for joining us this evening. We have got Dr. Paul Beck, who is the one who set up the PIPs with us this evening as well. And as I've already mentioned, Mr. Durbridge, who's been busy answering on the chat, in fairness. But if there are any queries or anything that you would like information on towards the end of the session, please feel free to stay on the line and we can answer you hopefully individually on that. Ond gyda na, mae'n 10 munud I 6, so gai ddiolch yn fawr I chi gyd. Thank you for joining us. And as I say, if there are any questions or queries following this evening as well, please remember for the help desk facility on the website.
Yeah.
Diolch yn fawr. Great, thank you very much. Very professional until the dog decides to join us. I do apologise.
That was brilliant.
Do you know what? Well, 3 men in the house here and a dog. It's not never going to go well, is it? Never going to go well. Na, diolch yn fawr I chi gyd. Thank you very much. I think it was very informative and, you know, small number of people, but you know, it's I think it's the nature. It's the same very often when we've tried it in school as well, isn't it, with these type of evenings. But